Namaste and welcome everyone to day 2 of our online celebrations of Ramanavami in our unique BhāratShakti style, I would say. So yesterday we had some very interesting talks from two of our speakers, one on the influence of Ramkatha and Ram Bhakti in the diaspora in the Pacific Oceans, Fiji and Samoa Islands, and how that has shaped people's consciousness there and what Ram Bhakti means to them and how it connects them to the land of Bharat and to the Sanatan Parampara. And then we had a beautiful talk by another speaker on the Telugu version of Ramayana, the only Ramayana written by a female poet, Molla Ramayana. What are some of the insights or what are some of the unique aspects of that? Today we have another different session on Ramayana in the classroom. So for that, we have two other distinguished speakers with us, two other distinguished guests with us. But before I invite them, I'm glad more and more people are joining. So I would like to, as we always do, invite you all to just a brief, maybe a minute long silent concentration. The speakers and I had some of that concentration time, but as more and more people have joined, we'll just take maybe 30 seconds or so, silently invoke Divine Mother's presence before we move on to our program today. And then I'll introduce our speakers. So just 30 seconds of invocation, silent invocation of the Mother. Thank you. So, Ramayana in classroom, that's our focus today. Yesterday, through both the talks, this idea that our itihasas like Ramayana and Mahabharata have been since ages great, great kavyas and great texts to be used for educational purpose, for forming the character mind of a collective individual, also at the collective level. So I thought, why not, in a very concrete way, look at some of the examples that some of the very creative educators from a school called Creative have been working with, have been implementing in their classrooms over the last several years. So I have the good fortune of knowing and working with this institution for several years now and seeing firsthand some of the great, amazing work that goes on in this little remote rural area of Karnataka near Bengaluru. So I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Jayashree Ashok and Ms. Shubha Rao with us today. Welcome, and welcome everyone who has joined for this conversation. So this is going to be sort of like a conversation. I have a few questions that I've thought of, and they'll be guiding us in terms of through pictures, through some of the text, and through some videos as to some of the activities that they've been doing inspired by Ramayana. So Jayashree Ashok, she's the co-founder and director of Creative School and Prajña Living Wisdom Center at Bengaluru. She has extensive experience in the area of education. She's been working on the ground and researching alternative educational approaches for decades before she started her own, this creative school and Prajña Living Wisdom Center. which itself is now more than 17 years, 16, 17 years.
We're completing 16 years as of
Yes,
next week.
16 years, correct. Right. So deeply inspired by the teachings of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, particularly on integral education and integral human development, which is the kind of the grounding framework for all the work that they do at Creative School. Her own inner growth, her own spiritual quest has been quite an instrumental, has played a very instrumental role in this journey of outer work as well. So she's had some, on her own spiritual quest, she's had certain experiences which led her to make drastic change in her own life, leaving a very high profile career in the software industry world and move into the field of education. So now she has more than 2 decades of experience working not just in the education field, but also several healing modalities, including, I'll name just a few: rebirthing, breathwork, and energy, and a variety of energy healing methods. Shubha Rao, she is currently working as the program advisor at Creative School with a particular group of students which are called Parijata. And I'll request Shubha later on to just briefly describe what does this Parijata group of students mean. This is a program, as far as I understand, for children from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Now, her main areas of work include curriculum planning, teacher training, counseling of children and teachers. She was also initially trained in the field of sericulture. This was new to me. I think I had forgotten that you were at one time not in education. But it's amazing how they have moved on to amazingly new, differently things. But she found that field of education was her true calling. So she went and got herself a diploma in teaching practice from Srishti School of Art and Design, followed by advanced Vedic mathematics training from Vedic Math Academy, UK. And somewhere along the line, she says she realized that working with children and teachers is actually an exercise quite similar to facilitating overall wellness. So she went and got some of the, wellness healing training as well, which is really beautiful because education is also about finding that harmony in mind, body, and spirit. So she's also a trained therapist from Prajña Wisdom Center that Jayashree is co-founder of. So now she has extensive experience in facilitation, teacher training, and children and teacher counseling. So with such amazing background between the two of you, I think we could not have found a better duo to tell us a little bit about what are some of the ways in which you have been able to bring the insights or wisdom from Ramayana in your teaching, learning, practice at Creative School. And before you do that, if you would just like to maybe take a minute or two to talk a little bit for some of our members who will be new here. They may not know about Creative, many might, but if you can just speak a little bit about that, that will be great.
Okay, all right. So I'll share a little bit about Creative, and then I invite Shubha to talk a little bit about the Parijata Learning Center inside Creative School. So Creative started after almost 2 decades of research in the area of education and grassroots work. I used to go and volunteer with different organizations. We were living in the US, and I was a typical software engineer, and I think a few visits to to villages in India, and then Auroville sort of put me on a different path. In the early years of Matra Mandir, I remember meditating there, and I think the seeds were sown, and it's only later in 2007 that I actually got started with the school. Because after a lot of research, I had visited more than 150 schools across India and in the US and studied different pedagogies. The one thing that stood out for me, which was just incomparable, was Sri Aurobindo and the Mother's integral education. Nothing comes close. As a vision for education, no other system came close to, because everything else left some questions unanswered for me in my own quest. And finally, it was also not just the quest, for learning about education, but also I was privileged enough, or however we call it, to be among the brightest cream of India working in a software company. And yet I found that somehow life was not whole. And the struggles of not knowing that we are integral human beings, of not knowing that life is a continuous journey of yoga, that Sri Aurobindo so beautifully teaches that all life is yoga, leads to a lot of unnecessary stress and strain in the so-called modern life. So it started off with me trying to search for a path that was truly balanced and harmonious. And of course, that led me a lot into the spiritual path, and it's through that. And as I went along the spiritual path, I'd continued my work with education, working in the grassroots in villages in India, and also at the same time training a lot with awareness. I think the mother and Sri Aurobindo really emphasized how self-awareness is key. So I trained a lot for almost a decade in various ways of becoming aware of our vital and our mental being, and how to be in touch with the psychic. So that was a lot of inner journey for me as well. And it's at that time that I felt inspired to start a school, laying the basic foundations. I'll still come out and say the first principle of true teaching is nothing can be taught, as Sri Aurobindo puts it, and yet we can create an atmosphere of reflection, of contemplation for children throughout their growing years. And that's something that I've really tried to do. We created a pedagogy called the Sacred Classroom, where there's a lot of reflection. So rather than teach Ramayana, we share Ramayana, and independent of the age group, we keep encouraging children to reflect on what is it that they are taking from it. Yeah. So to bring anything into the classroom, we've had to bring it in an integral manner. We've had to redefine the learning process itself. Instead of just learning, to bring in a lot of the capacity to reflect is something we develop from the age of 3 in age appropriate ways. And that's Creative School. If I look at the last 16 years, I think our area that we've strived a lot for, of course, we have yoga and pranayama and meditation and everything, but I think it's the self-awareness, as the masters so beautifully point out, self-awareness is key to self-mastery. And that's something we do in simple ways. Whatever be the lesson, we encourage children to reflect, how are they learning it? What are they taking out of it? And the same thing comes to Ramayana and the classroom, because it's very easy for Shubha or me or any of us to sit there and say, hey, I know Ramayana, I know the characters, and here I'm going to teach you. And I think Sri Aurobindo keeps us very humble. He says, hey, just excuse me, you can't teach. You can share and get the children to reflect. And this has been our attempt at creative, not just with Ramayana, but across. We have a strong, our foundation, the foundations of Indian culture is something that is we really do try to root our learning from near to far, which is the second principle that Sri Aurobindo brings up, which is, let us keep our roots in Indian culture, which is so wide and so vast. And then, of course, children will bring in their own influences from all over the world. And, but we start from the roots. So from a very young age, through stories, not just of Ramayana, it could be characters from Mahabharata and, all over. I mean, we look a lot at the stories, Sri Aurobindo, the mother's story. We brought in Kabir, we brought in, Guru Nanak, and looking at the different saints of India, Shirdi Baba. So children are often encouraged to not just learn the story, but also to reflect on what is it that they are taking away from the story in their own ways. I think I've answered more than what you've asked, Belu, so maybe I should.
No, that's very good. That's very good. But you've also given me one question, which I'll come to in a minute. But yes,
Let
Shubha, do you
Shubha
want to share
talk
a little bit about Parijata group
Yeah,
and what is
Parijata.
special about
Yeah. For that, I want to begin with my journey with creative started when creative was 8-year-old. My daughter was already there, and I came to know about school that it's also it. I came here to looking for answers for my own questions. After working with slum children for 15 years, I had no idea what am I doing. So that's when the journey started, and I met Jay. That's when my healing session started. She's told me the Shakti was playing all these years for you. Now it's Shiva, the consciousness which you need to acknowledge and you need to be present with it. So that's when my journey started with creative. When I joined, there was Parijata already. There were around 8 children, our staff children, and some children from the community, from the layout. And today it's 120 children from different backgrounds. We have children from the villages, we have children of auto drivers, Swiggy, delivery boys. So like that, we have 120 children. More than 50% of our fee-paying children.
So we have 50% of our school are fee-paying children. We call it the Palash program. And 50% are on full scholarship for their food, for their accommodation, for their transport. And of course, they get the same educational opportunities as the Palash children. So we just found Palash and Parijata so much more beautiful than to look at it as, and each has their own, beautiful significance. So yeah, about 50%. And it's been a very interesting, bringing everyone together as well. Has
Yes.
had a lot of, yeah.
I just want to point out for those who may be new in our BhāratShakti group, I can see Vijay ji and Preeti ji and few other names. We had done another, I think 3-4 years ago, maybe 4 years, 5 years back, another interview or conversation with Jayashree Ashok, her husband and co-founder of Creative, and Reshma at that time. The three of you, when we talked in detail about the history of Creative School, and that video is on Sri Aurobindo Society's YouTube channel for anyone to know more about the history of Creative School. And some of the names that you're just throwing, like Palash and Parijata, may be new to a lot of people. So, all that. And how the school runs. We actually identified that this could be considered as a very modern, creative version of the ancient Gurukula model, because it's a residential school. So how do you do all that? The kind of bring the ancient spirit of Gurukulam in a very modern, new setting. That was our focus of that conversation. So for anyone interested, maybe sometime during our session today, I'll put in the chat window the link to that video as well. So moving right along with the fact that you have such a unique blend of students coming in. I want to go back to that point you said that, giving a very vast foundation of Indian culture, base of Indian culture. This is very important and very interesting because so much talk is going on, not just talk, but actually action is also going on these days about integrating Indian knowledge systems in classrooms, in education system at all levels, from lower primary level to higher education level to even technical institutes. But a lot of the times it just comes across as an additional thing to be done, additional subject to be taught, few other additional classes to be given on some aspects of Indian culture. And the idea of seamlessly integrating with rest of the curriculum gets ignored. So what has been your experience? Like you said, it's not just about telling the stories or telling about the characters, but seamlessly bringing in, some through whatever it is that you might be teaching, say biology or, social sciences or anything like that. If you would like to pinpoint some examples of that, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, I can begin and let Shubha take over. So so first of all, I just want to mention that apart from looking at the subject areas, and Shubha will do a wonderful job of explaining how we integrate, say, something like Ramayana and conventional subjects as well. I just want to say that we have a class that we dedicate, on a weekly basis for an hour and a half to 2 hours, where called Life and Living, which is very broad and through which we bring in a lot of stories. So, like I mentioned, Ramayana has been brought in through initially the stories, where the children sit together with the teacher and they explore the story. And then, depending on an age-appropriate way, we have different activities that we take up at the young, throughout, they're always encouraged, what are you learning from the story? And every child is encouraged to share their own learning. And so that's something that happens across the years. And, each child takes something different from it. And then we tend to also create very informal plays. They don't always have to be productions. Of course, we'll share with you a few videos where the children, what they have learned, what they have observed has been turned into a small play. Okay. So may I request you to just play the orchid video?
Yes,
Video. And when they learned Ramayana and Life and Living, one of their takeaways was converted into a small play. And it combined it with, this time we took the children on a field trip to Ajanta and Ellora and many temples in Maharashtra.
Good morning, dear parents.
Okay, I think, yeah.
Yeah, just a minute. Give me a minute.
So you can see a small clip, of how the children have put together with very, in simple ways.
Yeah, it should work now.
Good morning, dear parents, teachers, children, and grandparents. Today, I am Samay and I am Ethan. We will be your travel guides for today's special little walk planned just for you, inspired from the orchids travel to the World Heritage destinations of Ajanta and Ellora cave temples. So come along with me and witness some of the beautiful sculptures, carvings and paintings come to life. Our first stop is an important scene from Ramayana. We first heard this story narrated to us during Life and Living class. We were awestruck with how peacefully, without any resentment, Rama decided to set out on his Vanavasa for 14 years just to uphold the promise that his father made.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Thank you. So, I mean, I'm sure what the children picked out of that is how Ram was willing to go to any extent to keep his father's word, and with the grace and with which he accepted it. And these are 8 and 9 year olds, right? So for them, that is what they picked up. And within it is just, and what you saw is exactly what was enacted. It took about 3 minutes. But for them, the process of creating of that play was also to highlight this aspect of it. I'm sure there are many other versions of it. I mean, there are many other learnings in there. So what we try to do is have the children reflect on each of their, what is it that you are taking out of it? And we take the exact version of what the story is, and have the children express that. In that process, they internalize that value. So that's our, because children ultimately need to bring it back into some form of theater or song or dance to be able to embody and to be able to internalize it. And that's something that I'm going to hand it over to Shubha. Shubha will share with you some of the takeaways from Ramayana, as she has worked with older children. Okay.
Yes.
This is the little ones, and she can show it with the older ones.
Yes.
I just want to read
And
all.
before we hear from Shubha, and I think again you have really exemplified what Sri Aurobindo says at one place in sort of like a passing comment. It's not passing because each word of his has such profound value, but in all that he writes, sometimes some phrase carries even greater significance. He says, in the context of education, take stories of legends of our great ancient past, teach them as not moral stories but as stories of supreme human interest. And I think that's exactly what this what you just shared exemplified, that what is the human interest here, the idea of peacefully accepting a certain choice that you don't have any control over, and yet making the best of that. So that part was just very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And maybe as Shubha is reading out some of the takeaways, Beluji, if I may request you to go to the last portions to load up the PowerPoint. So people can read, or you can just listen also. That's also fine. Yeah, go ahead.
So no, I have the PowerPoint also with your PowerPoint. Whatever
The last two slides.
Last
have
two
it.
slides
So
has the
people
point.
can do it as
last two slides, right? Yes. This should be visible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Shivaji, please go ahead.
Yeah, after listening to the Ramayana story, children in their small groups, they discussed and they said, these are the points that they have said. Kaikeyi blindly believed Mantra's words, and then for them it is their own life. We should not blindly listen to anyone. I have lost good friends because of this. Their own life application. With regard to Dasharatha killing Shravanakumara and Rama's exile, they said Jayashree Aunty has told us about the law of karma. Karma comes back to us. So he had separated the child from his parents, so it came back. So that was their understanding. They were able to relate. Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita's life in the forest, they made their forest life a joyful one without complaining about missing the luxuries in the palace because of Kaikeyi. So that was, when I heard that from children, it was like, we have done. And then this was one which really touched my heart. People blame Ravana for having the desire to have Sita, but pity Sita for having the same kind of desire to have a deer. Desires are desires, whether it's Ravana's or Sita's. So this was also the next slide.
Yeah.
And then about Jatayu, they had also gone to Lepakshi and saw the Jatayu there. Jatayu was
the
old.
Lepakshi temples in Karnataka.
That picture is there.
Yeah.
Jatayu was old, but he still tried to save Sita. So he is brave. He didn't give up his dharma of protecting a woman when she is in trouble. His dharma was higher than his life. So they asked us questions. He was old and he was weak. How did he do that? Then we had to ask them back that question. So tell me what made him to do. So he wanted to save Sita. So, and Sita hears the news of Hanuman's tail being burnt, and she immediately prays to Agni not to harm him. So immediately they connect to, that's how we do affirmations. So affirmations work. We have affirmations practice every day, and they have seen how it has worked for themselves. So it was very easy for them to relate to this one. And last rites for Jatayu by Rama, and even the squirrel story. For them, it was Rama loved everyone. He treated everyone, even the Guha one. Guha story, they understood that Rama was equal to everyone. And in the whole story, everyone made their own choices. This was one thing. And Sita had a choice not to go to the forest. He herself took the trouble, and then she went, and it was not okay if she was complaining, but she didn't complain. So everyone had to face their consequences when they had made that choice. So that was one big learning with this, yeah. And with the, yeah, and the beginning with the slide,
Oh, shall I share?
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
what. Yeah. Okay.
So you can go from the beginning
beginning
itself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait. Sorry. Okay.
So the question was, how did you integrate? Here, more than integrating, the Ramayana itself was the theme for term 1 in 2022-23. And by then we had finished Ma Ganga Pravas. And
So I'll just explain that a little bit. So one thing is, in school, every August 15th, which is Sri Aurobindo's birthday, we either have Dhwani, which is productions in theatre, dance, music, or we have Darpan, which is handwork, fine arts, So 1 year it is Dhwani, 1 year it's Darpan. So that year we had one of the plays chosen was Ramayana. The entire Parijata team and some of the children from Palash as well together, they put together this huge 1.5 hour production of Ramayana. And before that, we had taken them on a journey called Ma Ganga Pravas, where our Parijata children went all the way. They went to Delhi and then went to Haridwar, went to Gangotri and traced Ma Ganga from Gangotri to Varanasi, going to different places, ashrams along the way. And finally, after coming to Varanasi and exploring Varanasi, we took them to Bodh Gaya and then came back to Bangalore. So this was the whole journey, right? So from that journey, all the learnings also went into this play.
Yeah.
So over to you, Shubha.
Yeah. And also from that journey, wherever they went, everywhere they heard the story of Ramayana. They went to Devaprayag, there was Raghunath temple, and that's where Rama freed his sins, meditating in Rudraprayag. And then they come to Rishikesh, they see Lakshmana temple, and they say, what is this? We are hearing the Rama Lakshmana stories. And that's when we decided next year it should be theme of Ramayana. And then we didn't know how to integrate other subjects with Ramayana. And then we, as a team of teachers, we sat and researched on different things. So we had a lot of opportunities to integrate geography, science, languages, definitely, even math with Vedic mathematics. So we'll show the video.
You can see the beginning of. Okay, maybe we'll go through. We'll show you the beginning of the Dhwani video of.
Shall I play the video now?
Actually, no, we'll wait for that a little bit because it's.
Yeah.
So Ravana, the way the children have shown Ravana, so we'll wait for that. So please go ahead.
So we have some examples. This is just 1% of what we are showing here. The language through Ramayana. So the character sketches. So Hanuman, they have done this character sketch for all different characters, and this is one of the this is Lord Hanuman and Ma Sita
from
Sundarakanda. So Sundarakanda as a poem. A long poem written by Sri Vadiraja. It was in Kannada, and they drew this picture, and they have written the qualities of Lord Hanuman. So his surrender, dedication, his devotion towards Lord Hanuman, all that From that poem, whatever they extracted, they've written. And then about Sita, Ma Sita also. This is character sketch from the language perspective.
So by character sketch, what you mean is the high qualities
of
the very high
Yes.
noble virtuous
noble
qualities
virtues
of
Lord Hanuman.
Lord Hanuman and Ma Sita.
Yes, the
Yeah.
service and
Yeah.
everything.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So the children make this chart is actually huge. Okay, we've
It's
taken a
huge.
small
Yes,
picture of it.
yes.
But yeah, so and soon their classrooms were named Hanuman Hall.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
That.
And
Because they
I
were
had the
symbolic.
great privilege of being there when you named that hall, Hanuman Hall.
Correct.
Yes, yes.
The inspiration came when they heard when they were singing and they were learning Sundarakanda in language class in Kannada. The inspiration came to them to draw this picture and then
Wow.
to write his qualities. Yeah, and same with Sita and other characters. Ravana also they have done.
Oh,
And this shape poem, it's called the shape poem. The
ah.
same poem written in this shape of Hanuman.
So in the shape poem, you've taken the Sundarakanda
Kanda.
poem and
Yes,
written it inside the shape of Hanuman.
poem. If you zoom it, I mean,
You can see the Kannada poetry inside that. So this is little hard to show on the screen. If you zoom on the picture, Beluji, then you can just see the whole shape.
I'm not sure. Zoom it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it is
Okay.
possible.
Yeah, but we can send it. I mean, if there is a way to
Yeah.
send it to the participants, they can
Yeah.
zoom in. It's a very interesting way of writing poetry.
Yeah, it's different. Children have depicted differently, and the shape of one is different for each child.
But each shape is a character from the Ramayana, right?
Yes.
Yeah, all of these are Hanumanu.
All of these are Hanuman, right? Right.
So the
Part
Sundarakanda,
of Ramayana.
so they've written the poetry from Sundarakanda inside the shape of
Inside the
Hanuman.
shape of Hanuman.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can go to the next slide.
the next step.
Geography.
Yeah, we are not able to
We're not able to
see.
1 second. No problem.
The geography?
Yeah, the one
Yeah,
is the story
okay.
map. The one is the story. The whole of Ramayana as a long accordion book, they painted, the whole class. Yes. And they have written you the white sheets that you see below the pictures, below the drawings. That is in one sentences they have written each event. So that is their sentence structure. That is how they were learning the sentence structure. So it is both language and learning, drawing and learning about Ramayana and developing their language skills.
So in school, we use the concept of interconnected learning. So it's, while there is English and geography and art, all combined in this one class. So it's not a separate English class, a separate, they also learn, the English language concepts and the geography concepts and drawing, but we have classes for what we call as interconnected learning or thematic learning, where they learn as a whole and then learn to go into the individual parts also. Because that's how life is, right? Life, you treat project as a whole, and then the subjects kind of are just part of the whole. So that's something we do a lot of in school, which is why we're able to take, the story of Ramayana and bring it into everything.
Ramayana was the theme. And
In that year, Ramayana was the theme. We've done the same with Ma Ganga. We've had other themes as well. Yeah.
So then how to introduce geography? It was it was beautiful to say that his journey started from Ayodhya and he went up to Sri Lanka. So we took that opportunity to map it out and talk about each and every place. And they had also traveled during Maganga Pravas to different places there. And then they asked, when are we going to this place? When are we going to Panchavati, which happened last year? This year.
In Maharashtra, we went to
we went to Panchavati also. So they have covered most of the places of Ramayana trial. And then they have written what has happened in each of that place. They know the direction and North India, South India, where all did they travel and what was the. This map shows only the description of what happened there. There is one more map where they also study the geography, the landscape and everything of that place, weather and everything. So they were asking questions. So then how did Rama live during the rainy season in Hampi? They had seen the cave. So he
Yes.
in the cave. Yeah. So
Yeah,
then
we'd also gone to Hampi, of course, the Anjanadri Hills, and
yes.
there's a whole lot of stories there.
Yeah.
We fondly call our children Vanarasena sometimes. That's another way.
On
So
the
that was
Anjanadri.
really, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's one more research, which very interesting one, which we found out was Dr. Tony Nader, one of the neuroscientists. I think he has written a book on the Ramayana in human physiology, something. And then it talks about the metaphorical relationship between different body parts and how they related to Ramayana and its characters and the functions of different body parts and the Ramayana itself, the characters and the Ramayana itself. So the children had displayed a huge thing right from the nervous system to the artery to the digestive system and everything. That book has everything, and even our children learned it in detail about the human physiology through Ramayana. So that was interesting. So in this picture, it says how our spine is built. I mean, the shape of our spine and how it works, and how Rama's whenever he left an arrow, it used to come back. So the feedback system that we have in our brain, and then how it comes back with from the muscles back to the brain. So they have explained that. So children understood the human physiology through Ramayana and then the correlation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next slide we can go.
The next slide we can go.
Yeah. I'm just going to stop sharing. I think just for a minute, Sulochana Di, can you just because I think there were some markings that were coming up. So I just want to start off again. Hopefully this will not be the case now. Yeah. So we were up to here, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay,
Yes,
this is
we can
great.
go to
Since we've just taken a little moment here, what age group was this lesson for?
Sunflower age, which is 7th and 8th grade.
Okay, 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah, yeah.
Even the reflections
Even
were
the
7th,
reflections
8th,
7th,
9th,
8th
10th.
grade, 9th, 10th.
Because to think to that level, so that you see, the young children's reflection is more straightforward,
Yeah.
but the older children are able to pick up some of the deeper concepts.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Correct.
For each one, it is different, age appropriate.
Yes, yes.
And then field trips. I
Right.
think if I read the list of places that they've gone, they've covered almost all the places, I think. So except Sri Lanka. So field trip.
Yes.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Lepakshi one, we took all the children there where
Yes.
Jatayu was found.
Right.
The next slide has.
Yes.
And then very close to that place, one more, Namada Chilume. Chilume is the spring near Tumkur region, district in Karnataka, where Rama goes and stays there, and then they don't find water, and then Rama uses his dhanush. It's called Dhanushkoti. So and then water comes out of the ground. The water still is very sweet. Yeah, and very cool. In that it's a very dry place, but there is water always. So yeah, these are the places that they went. Yeah. So this is how we have integrated different subjects, and that was the life and living reflections.
Yes, wonderful.
All the subjects were covered through Ramayana: English, Hindi, Kannada as language, and math, science, geography. Yeah. Children did ask, was this a real story? Then I asked, what do you think? And then they said, we have gone into several places in India, right from the south to north. We heard the stories of Ramayana even there. Then I think it has happened. And then I asked, if that was not true, what do you say? Then they said, it's okay. Even if it is as a story, we have so much to learn.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if we consider it just as a story, there is so much to learn.
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So I just want to, before we move on to the videos that you have from the play, right? The Parijatas, not the Parijatas group, but
Yeah, the
Parijatas.
Parijatas play. Yeah.
before we move on to that, I have one question, and then we'll play the videos, and then we'll open up for maybe questions and comments from audience as well.
Yeah.
Well, I had several questions, but
So,
many of them were addressed through this
yeah.
beautiful presentation. But my question is if there have been any challenges or any kinds of difficult questions that you've faced from the parents in
Yeah,
terms
so
of
we'll just
how
come
you-
before
Yeah.
I look into that. Before I answer that, Beluji, can I add one more aspect? I forgot
Yeah.
to mention this. Yeah. So another very rich experience we have in school is every festival is celebrated really well. So we bring in a lot of the cultural aspects, and the children often put together music and dance is a big one. So they create a lot of, I mean, what we've shared with you is one aspect, right? There's a lot of music and dance around it. And one thing that we've tried to do through all festivals is somehow make it also inner looking. You know, one thing in India is we love festivals, but sometimes we make it only external. You know, it's only about the puja and the food, right? But to look at what is the significance, as I see Narendra ji here, you know, the symbolism of some of the beautiful aspects of the celebration, we always bring it in. For example, one thing we've looked at is Sri Rama is also the light within,
Mm.
and Ravan represents the, you know, 10 heads are the ego. How, you know, the ego can keep renewing itself. So we sometimes map from every time during a festival, we try to have one activity that is also a little internal, right? So, for example, the light within, if you take Rama as the light within, what is a situation in your life when you know you have been maybe taken, say you've been jealous of somebody, or say you've been angry with somebody? How can you, when you, how can you bring the light within? So in a simple way, right, it could be maybe practicing forgiveness, or maybe looking to see, you know, why we are jealous. So we try to bring a little bit of that component in a very child age appropriate, child friendly way. Like for a small age group, we may not use words like light within, right? So we may try to use more, although they really get it by the time, because this habit of reflecting, right? So we may ask them, okay, when did you pick up a fight? Okay, now how can you bring in, you know, into this situation? How can you bring the light within? Or, you know, so they take a little this thing like that, and they also, I think we should share the video of Ravan and how the children looked at it next. But I just wanted to bring up saying that many times we try to have a small little process of reflection for them, even during festivals, to be able to internalize some of the teachings of Ramayana or Mahabharata. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted
That's
to,
very, very important, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
right. So
So
yes, just
coming to your
anything you want to
question
say
on,
about the parents, if there's
yeah.
any challenge.
So, of course, the parents, you know, joining creative is an experience for them also, because it is, you know, when people sign up, they sign up to school saying, yes, we want real education. We don't want, you know, stifling classrooms. And then after a while, they realize that first it's like, okay, the teachers will take care, no? Then they realize, oh my God, I have to change, because we begin school with arts, a lot of arts. It's not like we don't have academic subject, but the fact that Dhwani and Darpan are August 15th means 2 months after school begins, it's an immersive process for the children on a daily basis. And we do this because after the summer holidays, children often come in with all kinds of stuff. And the process of immersion in the arts cleans up the vital being. It is a way to refine the vital. And you know, when they put up a production or they're producing, you know, handwork or a beautiful painting, something gets worked out in that process of arts along with their subjects. We do a lot of arts in the first term. So sometimes we get complaints from parents saying, you know, it's too much arts. And we have to explain, saying you have to understand that arts extends beyond the arts classroom. Your child is more, and I really want to share this. After COVID, 2 years of lockdown had a really not so pleasant impact on the children. And they had, many of them had become very addicted to being on the, because schooling was online. And even though we did our creative best to, keep the children engaged and have it activity based, and yet they all probably had their little YouTube screens and everything playing on the computer, which we can't see. So we found that when they came back after COVID, there was a lot of behavior which we had never seen before. Unrefined behavior, and their exposure to so much media brought in a lot of vulgarity. We dialogue with them, we took them into nature, we went on long hikes without any media. So, many things were done to help the children come back into some kind of inner balance and harmony. But I must share that probably the most impactful was the production of Sri Aurobindo's play and Ramayana.
Yes.
Over the 2 months, during the practices, we never thought they will reach where they did. They have their dramas. They're like, oh, why do we have to learn this? And then they'll complain to the parents saying, there's so much of, this practice for the play. We don't have enough studies. Then parents will complain. All of that is there. I just stayed steady. Each time I would connect to the mother and Sri Aurobindo, and I just stayed steady. August 15th, what we saw of the children made us all cry. The same kids who complained about the plays, Parijata children complain less. It's mainly the complaint comes from what I call very fondly. I love all children, but sometimes, children who come from the more affluent society have a disease called affluenza. Yeah. So affluenza kind of makes them complain more, right? The same kids, it was unbelievable, and here we also give every child a turn to play the different roles, right? So we had 6 children playing Sri Aurobindo. Yeah. And oh my God, on stage, I really thought the masters were working through them. And they came out, after all the complaining we had heard, oh, this, that, suddenly on stage, something happens and they take up that role. And when they enact it, I feel the energy of the masters goes in. So it's a process. I just want to also come out and say, for any one of you who's a teacher here, don't think that the children will all be happy and say, yeah, 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 and parents won't complain. All of that happens. We have to just stay very steady. And we listen to everybody, we don't give in. We stay steady because we know that finally on August 15th, all the parents will be crying, saying how beautiful this is. My son did so well, my daughter did so well. All that comes on August 15th. So we just take it with a sense of humor, all the complaints, children and adults, we just stay steady. And that year was a huge transformation. More than anything else, I feel the rooting in Indian culture brought in a certain groundedness and humility into children. And when they brought out their theatrical best on stage, it made us all cry. Then we thought, okay, all the complaints we put up with is worthwhile.
Yes.
So that was a
Yes.
story I wanted to share. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And before I invite Narendra to, he's already raised his hand there. I just want to say that I have seen that Sri Aurobindo play, and I've talked to some of the children who performed in that play. I mean, oh my gosh, you are absolutely right. The tears, the love with which they did that production, it is just extraordinary, extraordinary. So I think this is another very, very important point when we are talking about the deeper significance and the deeper influence of Rama's story or Ramayana or Ramkatha in the Indian psyche, in the Indian consciousness. Arts and literature have been such important ways to make people experience that rasa of what the insight, the deep insights of Ramayana are, the stories, the characters, the people, their choices, everything, the beauty of the way the legend, the story is being told. So the fact that you are doing this through the arts makes such perfect sense. At least to me, it does. And I also want to tell our other participants as well that we had another conversation with Jayashree and Sintha on this very question of how arts can be used for Chitta Shuddhi as part of the vital education. So as soon as I get a moment, I will share both the links in the chat window for anyone who is
There was
interested.
also one we did on arts and education.
Yes, actually, that's right. So I'll try to locate all those 3 links and put them in the chat. Right. So there were actually, yes, 2 on arts and 1 general on creative curriculum. So that's great. So this is now our 4th conversation on Ramayana. Wonderful. Wonderful. So yes, Narendra, before we go on to the video, I think Narendra wanted to...
Shubha wanted to share something,
Yes.
and then, sorry, we can go on.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
2 things to share. So when we decided to take Ramayana as the theme for the term 1 for 6 months, just with Ramayana to cover all the subjects and everything, we had no doubt. We knew that Jay will always support and say yes, because I have come from a school. I mean, when I worked with children from slums, it was secular. We were not even were given any chance to chant or anything. But here we received that support and that strength. And then it became very easy for us to take our learnings and our our own strength to children and to the parents. So there was no questions. So that support was there, that I really want to acknowledge. That freedom we have here. And the second thing, with Ramayana, the whole process itself was healing for children. When they were playing the character, they were healing their own inner whatever trauma that they had. And now we see that as the strength. The values that they learned, the reflections that they have, has gone deep inside them, and they live it. The trauma that they go through at home, sometimes they don't have space, they don't have food, but still they stand up for their life and they want to lead their life well. And they the next morning they get up with a smiling face and keeping a hope. So I think these values really have come through reflections, deep reflections, with our own deep-rooted Indian culture and heritage. This is what I wanted to add.
Thank you.
Both, particularly in terms of how important is the support from the administration, the school management, the school administration. And of course, I mean, we can have a longer discussion on what secular is and what isn't. Everything is sacred, right? I mean, your whole system is based on the idea of sacredness of learning and teaching. If all life is sacred, how can anything be non-sacred? And we put it in the category of secular. But the other point is also exactly what Rajeshwari ji shared yesterday about how indentured labor in Fiji and took, as a way to work their own trauma, healing. So beautifully connected here. Narendra's hands get tired being raised. So yes, Narendra, go ahead. And yes, please go ahead. Unmute.
Just 2 small points. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, just 2 small points. You spoke about the cleaning of or purification of the vital through artistic activities and all that. Does it really work for all ages? I mean, you're doing it with children and you are noticing some change and effects on them. But there have been a whole lot of artists we have seen in real life, in society. They are good artists and all that, but they are full of impurities inside. A lot of degeneration is also there. Values, degraded values. Good artists, well-known artists with a lot of degraded values. So this purification through art, I think that can only happen when you have a yogic, some approach or some spiritual approach to the pursuit of your art. If you don't have that, I don't think that purification is possible. So it could be working for the kids, and you're definitely giving those spiritual inputs to them. But adults, in case of adults, or I mean, that is one point I need a little bit more clarity on that.
Thank you so much.
Always work that way. And there's one more point you just not related to this: screen time. Whether you have any screen time for the children or if you don't have, whether there's resistance, and how do you manage that? Because they are addicted. what I see, children are addicted to their mobile screens. So how do you tackle that addiction? So these are the 2 points. Yeah.
Thank you. Both are extremely relevant to today's world. And of course, the question on arts is relevant for everyone. See, I think all of this works because we invoke Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. It's an Oro Arts Center, and we invoke them, and our intention when we bring in, see, the intention with which one brings in art, the consciousness with which one brings in art is purely going to guide the experience of everyone. So when we invoke art, there is a certain, of course, we have, we've taken Sri Aurobindo's teachings and the mother's grace, to do the work, and also very clear within us on the goal of the art is not just beauty and ego-bound art, which is only going to look at outer beauty and feed the ego. But our intention is that the child goes through the refinement of the vital. When we make a clear intention, and as you rightly pointed out, there are many artists who have extremely, and I think this is where the Indian arts have a lot of profound depth, because Indian arts are based, they are a path to God, as Sri Aurobindo puts it, right? It's a path to the divine. So I think having, it's not any art. We allow other arts to come in built on the foundation of our traditional arts, because they have come in through yogis. It's coming through the yogis. So when you're learning that, so that becomes the foundation. So when the foundation is strong, then what you put on top of it is better. Having said that, not for a moment can Shubha or me or any other teacher in creative school be complacent. Because like you rightly pointed out, the biggest degeneration happening today is social media. The media, the screen time the children have with an enormous amount of vulgarity is heartbreaking. And children are addicted. So in our school, they have an hour of computer time, and sometimes older children take more. But we have disabled at least the 5 days of the week that they are with us. We don't have access to social media, and we have an absolutely amazing arts and sports center. So their evenings are taken up with immersive activities in arts and nature activities. We have a Tinker Lab for science. So we encourage them to take up hobbies. So there's culinary arts, there is Tinker Lab for scientific experiments. We have a lovely art center offering all kinds of programs from guitar, mandolin to vocal to dances. Then we have a variety of sports. So that energy, it's not enough. You have to have the clear intention, have, receive the master's grace, and know that it's a journey. That's why I shared with you that in the beginning, children complained. What you see, the final videos of Ramayana and Sri Aurobindo, you'll be like, wow. And then you see the children, you're expecting all of them to walk around like little Ramas and little, Sri Aurobindos. But no, they have their shadow sides. And we see that. But we have to be patient and know that art is a journey. So, but we persist with it with a clear intention, we find the transformation happens. And almost all children who've graduated from school, another form of very popular art-based meditation is mandala coloring. Almost all of them, whether they meditate or not in other ways, they'll do mandala coloring. And in India, in our cultural heritage, mandalas being circular help us go inwards. It's used in Hinduism and Buddhism. And see, that's a coloring that they use. And sometimes I have kids write to me years after they graduate from school saying, Auntie, I still do mandala coloring, Auntie. I still do my journaling and mandala coloring, which I learned from school. Or I take some time for silence, So these things kind of integrate into their lives when they go out. And like you're pointing out, one has to be vigilant. We cannot say, oh, we have built an art center. So, okay, ho gaya. Now I've put in, a beautiful play called Ramayana. All the children are going to become little Ramas and go. No, they are Vanaras and sometimes they are Ravans also. But that process, the teacher, love becomes important. The greatest qualification for a teacher is, do you love children? If you love children, you will find the patience to work through that. And we have to wait and see, and children themselves will give you a small window, and then you quickly seize the day and go in. Of course, I'm blessed with a very a good team, and our teachers training is rigorous. First for themselves, because see, unless the teachers learn to clean out their own vital, holding that space for children is very difficult. And our entire teachers training has a lot of, processes that we have for cleaning our own vital, and learning to release negative emotions, learning to, to meditate, to do the pranayams, to do. So the yogic practices are very essential in our space. And we are finding that's where Shubha also said when she first came in, she had gone through a lot of confusions, in her previous place, because they had not had a spiritual foundation. And systematically, she was able to clear all that and come. So I think I'd like to summarize in a few different ways. One is invoking the grace of the masters, having very clear intentions that this is the refinement of the human being is important. And thirdly, the teachers themselves need to engage with these processes, because then they will hold the right space for in our school. We give a lot of space. 5 weeks of space for training of a teacher happens before the school starts. And people say, what do you train year after year? And that's what it takes, because we have to keep cleansing ourselves and keep moving forward. That space has to be made. So all of these are important. And yes, if there is one thing I would recommend for all schools, all teachers, and it looks like some European countries and Australia are going in that direction, which is to ban social media up to a particular age, honestly. It requires, I think, parents should think twice before they give their children cell phones as a birthday gift. Please don't. It's a birthday curse, not a birthday gift in today's world. And they are addicted, they will bargain, they manipulate, they do all of that. And we just have to say, we love you and we are going to stay steady. That's it. So finally, love is the answer.
Yes.
We have to love children. Thank
Great,
you.
great. I think you have also brought in something that I was just keeping maybe later if we had time, the importance of teachers. And I don't want to use the word teacher training, because it's really inner work that you're emphasizing for teachers. Without that, and without giving them space and the wherewithal, the means to be able to do that on a regular basis, not as a one-off thing, to make yourself feel good after a bad week or 2 weeks, or no, on a regular basis as part of their practice is so important. So not every school is able to do that. So hats off to you to be able to, and to continue to do that, and to be surrounded by such wonderful, people like.
I think everyone is wonderful. We've
Yes.
all realized the value of
Yes.
that's why it's continuing.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
Just going to briefly step out to put on the lights. I think we are getting
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Shubha.
Okay, so maybe we can watch those other videos now.
Yes, you can play.
In the meantime, I just want to say that I have put in several links to the write-ups, brief write-ups about the conversations, as well as the video links to the conversations. For anyone who is interested, just save them from the chat windows so you can go and watch those. 2 are on art and 1 on general on the history of creative school. So, and please have your questions or comments or thoughts ready. Let me start. Which video do you want me to show? There were 2 videos on
Parijata clip 2.
2. All right. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that, or after we watch the clip?
It's almost the last scene of Ramayana.
Okay.
Where the war between Rama and Ravana happening. Please watch it.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I have to first, just give me a minute.
Yeah. By then, I'll just share about the role played by that girl. Ravana was played by a girl, and it just happened spontaneously. We had chosen a boy for playing that role, and he was trying. Something was not happening. Immediately, this girl, she was preparing for her math exam. It was there in 15 days for her. Just after Dhwani, just 1 week or 15 days, she had her exams. We wanted to choose her because of her exams She said, Auntie, I want to, but I can't. But I want to, I can't. We also said, okay, this is what you're choosing. And we had left it. And she used to come sit there, watch this boy do. And that boy also, something is not working. One day she couldn't sit there and she just jumped into it. I'm going to show him how to do this role.
Okay.
Started, and
Yeah.
then it was mind blowing. And she said, I'm going to do this. Please choose me, Auntie. I will do this role. And then it came out so well, and she passed her math exam with first class marks.
Oh, wow. So how arts work in
Yes.
mathematics also. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll play the video
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So I hope it's visible. Yeah.
Yes.
So beautiful to watch this. Shall I play the next one also?
No,
I think
that's-
it's okay.
that's-
This is
that's
good
okay.
because we want to
Yeah,
give more
yeah.
time for questions and discussions.
Yes, this is just so beautiful. I could actually recognize few people, few of them.
Okay,
Yeah. Our favorite was the way that the different children show the different heads of.
Yes, different egos,
All
different.
the props were all the props were also made by
Made by
children.
the children only.
Oh, great. So, any from the participants, if there are any questions or comments or insights, please share. Feel free to just unmute yourself. And this is a very good opportunity, especially. Yes, Rajeshwari ji. Please unmute yourself. Rajeshwari ji, please unmute yourself. Yes.
A beautiful job being done there at Creative.
Thank you.
Wonderful and very
Thank you.
insightful. I was just wondering, how do you get in such remote places dedicated teachers? And is it a difficult job to maintain them for many years?
Well, my first answer is very simple. It's the Guru's grace.
Yeah, yeah.
They find us.
Um,
And the second answer is yes. I mean, we have a team that has stayed for a while who are, we also spend a lot of time training. Like I said,
yeah,
sometimes teachers train a lot here and then, they go take that to another school as well. So it's okay. It's all a part of it. We do have teacher flux. I would say that by and large, the level of commitment of teachers, when they first come in, it's not like they have that much commitment. But I think having self-development as a goal and, like that, teaching is a karma yoga. So we go through a lot of different, there's a tuning in that happens literally over a period of 3 to 5 years. And over that period, we see a lot of change. And self-awareness is key, setting the right intentions, purification of intentions, the loving space helped by, many of the senior teachers to encourage junior teachers and to give them that space. So ultimately, it's grace. That's my answer. I don't have any other way to explain it.
right.
Yeah, and
Also,
it's a
I just
residential
wanted to know
space.
that you are sponsoring the Parijat group.
Yes.
So, how do you manage the finance part?
So I have a very nice way of describing me and my husband. We are very good at begging. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm putting it like
it's
that.
okay.
Yes, we do go out. Our friends and family, especially because we lived in Seattle for a while and we had done a lot of grassroots work when we are there. So there's a lot of trust people have. So the same people have been sponsoring one child or two children, and then it
Yeah.
adds up. Yeah. And we do have, it is a fair amount of hard work to go. We make our annual trip and go and contact everybody and tell, please, we need your funds. So that's one part. Fundraising is a part of our work. And we do have some amount of CSR funding, although it's a very small. Honestly, a lot of it is because I think I think the work has its own energy and somehow grace comes in.
You should share
And
No,
how.
no, I see the energy and devotion and perseverance in your work. And I have really, seen this when I was also a teacher. You have to put in extra effort, and you just
yes,
don't have to
yes.
be a teacher in the classroom, but
Yeah,
it has to carried out in the outside the classroom as well.
yeah, yeah.
So the regular coursework also curriculum you have to manage, and then
Yes,
this
yes,
also.
yes.
So do
Yeah.
you do it in the classroom, or there are some extra classes for these things?
No, actually, we have it because it's especially our larger, we have two campuses. The rural campus is a 5 day residential, and some kids
Okay.
stay for 7 days as well. So we have classes. We start at 6:30 in the morning. 6:45 is morning yoga,
Uh-huh.
and then
Then
we
it's good.
complete at 9 o'clock. So
Yeah,
because
yeah.
evenings have sports and art center, and sometimes art centers during the day, we have so many children, and it's very
Beautiful.
high quality work.
Yeah.
So it does take time. Yeah, managing our timetable is
But
a
you are
sadhana in
a
itself.
driving force for many of us now. A very good thing you are doing.
Yeah, I have a
Congratulations on this.
team of
Ah,
good. I mean, I'm not the only one. It's a co-creation, and everyone works together. But yeah,
ah,
it's hard work. But end of the day, when we see the children go out, and there is a
yeah.
certain centeredness in them, and I always say one thing that I want them to know is just to receive blessings, and then everything else falls into place. I would say
Because,
all kids go out the same way. Sometimes the parental bring back Beluji and Nagendraji's question is it is work in progress. We have to be vigilant, and
yeah,
sometimes yes, the parents do undo our work, and in which
yeah.
case we have to just surrender our best effort and then just pray that at some point, the child sees the value. So yes, we do have, there are, parents who, especially in the 9th standard, 10th standard, the child is doing fine. But parents have a conditioning that unless they see stress, unless they see mugging up, and
Academic only. Yeah.
it's not happening. So that we do deal with, but then it's all a part of it. There is Samudra Manthan happens all the time.
Because we are also facing similar problems because we run this Shri Aurobindo Sadhana Kendra and extracurricular activities. We are situated in a university township. And really we want to do extracurricular and student and youth activities. But every year we put in so much of effort, but then those students who, get trained under us, then they don't show up. We send them for 10 days to Pondicherry also. There are story reading and enactment and so many other activities. Beluji also, incorporated his half-day workshop there. But yeah, I can understand.
Yeah, yeah. We
Thank
do
you.
also, when teachers join, we tell them that please, we do ask them to stay at least for 3 to 5 years. So we do say that. So some of it is also, we have to learn how to some extent, we do need to insist on that in the beginning. Some of them still break it and go after 2 years, but then we also point out, because in this kind of a space, the children also do get a little attached to the teachers. So then, all of this happens. It's all a part of it. So the standard masala happens, but I think it's the grace and the intention through which we receive the support, because we have no way of explaining it.
So the main thing, as Jay said already, the first thing is to give that non-judgmental, loving space in the first 2 years for even the teachers. When they come, it's completely new for them, for some of them. And for that unlearning to happen, and then to be open to receive the new, new environment, to be with the new environment and to learn new things, we need to give that loving space. So that is what
Love is the ultimate answer to everything.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
love and joy, right? That's what it's the same for teachers, same for children, same for parents. Ultimately, that's what it is. We all
I do
have.
agree with your effort with the arts as well, because it gives the child to concentrate and focus and become, single-minded.
Yeah.
So this is helping. Yeah. Because I'm a
It's
grandmother, so I face, similar problems as well. Thank you so much for your.
no problem. And it's all, I mean, I won't say arts is the only thing, right? Today we are talking about it. I would say, I mean, sports has an equally good role
Right,
in
I agree.
using
All
up
the
energy. Now we are finding that our so-called Vanarasena, the younger ones, we send them to play football at 5 in the morning, they are calmer in classes. So, sometimes we have to try it out and go through.
Yeah.
Field trips are a big one. The field trips, if there's one thing that the children who graduate from school remember, it's our field trips. Our field trips are really an immersion. It's beautiful. We keep it simple, clean, and very clear on the purpose again. Coming back to, very clear intentions for the trip. So we definitely don't take them to malls. We take them to places of spiritual significance, of cultural significance, and then invariably there'll be some trekking and nature activities, some seva. So it's sort of, it's also very carefully curated for us.
What about the food part? Do they eat well in the boardings? Or
We give vegetarian food here. We are Sattvic vegetarian food is what we give. Yes, that's another department where we have 70% success and 30% complaints.
Yeah, children, they full
That's
of
part of
energy.
it.
They don't eat much.
Yeah. No, that's all of it is, it's all a part of it.
So, any other specific questions about Ramayana in classroom or incorporating insights, lessons from Ramayana? Questions, comments, reflections from any of the other
Do you have
participants?
any training sessions for the parents or
Yes,
orientation?
lots. Yes, lots. So we begin with a 3-hour open house where we clearly spell out what the school is and what the school is not as well. And the parents get tested first before. But now, what has happened with AI, the parents answer the questions very well. Everybody knows what creative school's answers are. And then they get into school. Hey, this is India, right? All of it happens. They have learned now, oh, creative में, अंदर जाने के लिए ये सब बताना पड़ेगा. So that happens, right? And we have to smile. But that's where I think we get tested. Once they get in for a while, everything is okay. When the child reaches 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th standard, all of them get antsy and we have to stay steady. So parent counseling is a part of it. But there are 7, we call it mandatory workshops, because without mandatory, we actually charge them for it as part of the admission fees. But even with that, I would say about 70% of the parents take it. Our workshops include a lot of self-awareness and how do you work with the vital, emotional well-being, we call it. And then there are workshops on, different areas that we think: sacred parenting, the sacred classroom, so compassionate communication, compassionate awareness and communication. So different aspects of parenting we cover through workshops. And the parents visit at least 3 times a year for the different melas that are organized. The Learning Mela is a big showcase of how learning happens in school. So that's a very educational tour for the parent, because the child these are children-led as well. So their understanding of learning also needs to broaden, right? So we have events like Dhwani, Darpan, the Learning Mela, and then our sports also is very inspired by Sri Aurobindo's. It's not just ego-bound sports. We have, in addition to some level of competition which the children enjoy because of they have to have that outlet. We also give a lot of emphasis on spirit. And there are prizes given for spirited work and collaboration and cooperation as well. So there's a lot of that. It's really, it has to be holistic. We can't, because each child has their spark in a different area. So we try to give as broad a base as possible and try to identify what sparks each child. So it's a combination of things, Narendraji. It's not only one thing, but it's a combination of things that all works together. And the foundation of which is a lot of teacher inner development. And then we have the curricular training. So all our teachers go through the inner development training. When I say training, it can't be taught, it can be shared, but it's a process for themselves. And many times our teachers, as they work on healing, their relationships at home get better, many things get better. So they see the benefits of that. And I think having that angle also to answer, Rajeshwari ji's question, it helps a lot when there is an inner, when the teachers are seeing the benefits, they are also likely to stay longer. So that's also part of it. Yeah.
Parijata parents also get simple workshops, not so elaborate, but they'll also get, so it helps them to understand school, understand parenting, understand their own awareness work, and then simple practices, well-being practices we teach them.
The practices of gratitude are things that,
affirmations.
affirmations, gratitude, positive mindset. How do you choose that? Shubha and team do a wonderful job, and we do these in Kannada, in the local language as well. So, yeah.
Yes. I think one of the things, and I want to just bring the conversation back to Ramayana also. I have personally experienced there on every visit, the joy and love that is there, very palpable when we work with the children, when we work with the teachers, in the whole environment. It is so living there. So that's what makes everything else possible. When we talk of great literature, great stories of Rama and Sita and everyone who's there, all those high ideals get, in some ways, small, big ways, like living examples through the environment there. So that really makes it all living. It's not just a textbook kind of a thing. So that's very much living, because I remember when one of the visits, I had the opportunity to listen children recite Hanuman Chalisa with such devotion, such reverence, which is, not, and children of all backgrounds, all ages. So it's not something you would see typically in schools. And the same children would, I think next day when we had the fire ceremony, they would just go into that quiet space. So the certain energy with which they were chanting Hanuman Chalisa, a totally different energy comes in when they are, quiet, going within, because it's part of their daily practice. And they see teachers doing that. They see themselves, as experiencing that. So it's a very living thing for them. It's not outwardly imposed from the outside. So it's not an add-on. That's the thing that I think
Yeah,
makes.
it's definitely not an add-on. It's the foundational work. And
Yes.
that's why the pedagogy had to be tuned into all the important qualities. The yogic qualities need to be practiced. And that is a system which we practice here called the sacred classroom, where there are spiritual principles that are foundational, and then the learning process also had to be modified. So when we do that, then Ramayana lives in the classroom. Coming back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
Hanuman
yes,
Chalisa
yes.
didn't come just like that
It
artificially.
was Shubha's efforts. I want to
Yes.
say that to bring in
Yes,
Chalisa
I
into.
don't say, I mean, I want to say that it was not even my effort somewhere, because we went our field trips when we went to Anjanadri in Hampi. We were sitting on the top, and then they were so excited. They wanted to. They knew some Maruti song. They chanted, and then I said, there is one more like this. Like Hanuman Chalisa is Sundarakanda. So
Ah,
there is one more song. Do you want to learn? And then that's how it started, and full of energy that day from the top until they came to the last
yes.
step. Ram Lakshmana Janaki Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Full of Hanuman. And
Yeah.
then that day they said, we want to learn. The two children knew about it, knew Hanuman Chalisa. They said, we know, we'll chant today. And then we all should learn this. That's how it started. And and the energy of Hanuman stayed.
Yeah.
It stays with us.
Yes. Wonderful.
Baby
Wonderful.
Hanuman, baby Ganesha and baby Krishna are the favorites anyway for even the
Yes.
littler ones as well. And every Monday evening we have satsang. So a lot of the chanting and the songs happen then as well.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, thank you. This is so amazing, really. Any last maybe we can extend for another 5 minutes if there's any question or insight or sharing, reflection, comment from anyone.
Jayashree ji, as always, Viji here. As
Yes,
always,
Viji,
you
yes.
do a great work. There is one more, how to say, the atmosphere where you support the harmony, the simplicity. I feel the deeper connection. To grow, we are growing a soul. So the deeper connection, the purpose of life is, done there. Not from the regular schools where we go behind the portions, completion of portions, homeworks, projects, science day, maths day, whatever day in the world. All those things. When I see this is so lively. I think we have all missed so much for our kids sitting in Chennai or elsewhere in the cities. I feel I missed it. Maybe for my grandchildren, I should see either ashram school or your school. Something I keep telling that to you. So, very nice. You people are bringing the soul, the inner being of the child. You're bringing it out. I am so happy. Thank you for presenting. I was literally in tears on both the videos. How nice. How nice. Very nice. Deeply moving.
Suresh, मैं कुछ कहूँ? Suresh, say something.
Yes, please go ahead, please.
रामायण में जो ये आयन है ना, this is actually a journey. This is actually गति. हमारे खगोल शास्त्र में भी in astrological there are two gatis. One is Dakshinayan and one is Uttarayan. When the sun, moves towards north, and in Dakshinayan it moves towards south. Whole thing is about journey. The madam was explaining so beautifully. एक राम गतिपथ है. There is a route which Ram followed. This is not a physical and geographical route only. This is a spiritual route also. And there are some people who are trying to revive that route. He started from Ayodhya. He must not have reached Chitrakoot or Panchavati or even to Dhanushkodi, Rameswaram to Lanka. So it is a defined route, and if somebody can look deeper, he can find the traces, like Madam very, very beautifully has, mentioned Lepakshi. तो सारे रास्ते में वो दंडकारण्य, सबरी नदी is I've been to there. It's in the district of Khammam. Khammam is a district near Rajamundry. So is journeying is instead of looking for a destination, this whole Ramayana is a iron, is a gaman, is a path of Ram, is the journey of Rama. I think if we have this in mind, this journey will be easier. It will be, instead of looking for some point or some destination, this whole process is very beautiful, is very elating, is very, very, satisfying. That's all.
Great, great. And to bring it to the awareness of students, children, that this whole life is a journey and how to walk in the footpath or, the footsteps of Rama. It's like going a journey within and a journey outward. So yes, thank you. Very beautiful point. There are a couple of things in the chat box. Chitra is saying this is almost unbelievable. And then Rajeshwari ji is saying, I took up painting at the age of 62. It does help to focus and concentrate, widens your consciousness and imagination. So yes.
When I was listening to Vijayji, I was just remembering recently as Shubha also mentioned, all the children went to Panchavati, right, in Nashik. And people are like, what happened? Panchavati in Ramayana book is very different from Panchavati today. So I just want to say that sometimes, that also makes them, it teaches environmental consciousness.
Yes,
When Panchavati is described in the Ramayana as this beautiful place in the forest, it's so serene, so peaceful. And you go to the Panchavati today, it's full of shops and
They actually said once we will come here only to clean. We are ready. When are you taking us?
Wow,
They
great.
said that now we need to have that strength to go there and do.
Yeah. Even some of our temples also, right? Outside, it's so messy. And the children notice. I think reading through all of these and then having the comparison is also a teaching on environmental education.
Correct. That's the best way, actually, rather than just in theory. Yes, Sulochna Di, I think you wanted to say something.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe I saw.
No.
All right. So I think maybe we can close this with, I don't know, thank you is not a word big enough, but really with a lot of gratitude to, as Viji said, the work that you are doing, living souls that you are working with and how you are really shaping them, showing them, everybody at Creative, how you're showing them a new path or a deeper, purposeful path of growing up and of living. That is just such a beautiful work in the service of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. That's why Sri Aurobindo's he was so keen on the work of education to take on the teaching of integral yoga to larger number of people through education. So the idea of all life is yoga has to start from the very beginning, even before the birth of a child, but certainly as early as possible in educational process. So deep gratitude and reverence to Mother and Sri Aurobindo for giving us instruments like everyone who is part of the Creative family, and for making us a part of your family whenever we get a chance to come and visit and work with you all. So thank you so much, Shubha ji and Jayashree ji, and thank you to all the participants for joining us in this conversation. Please join us again on our final day tomorrow, where we will have some sessions planned on the theme of Anubhuti of Ram Ras. So there again, you'll actually get a chance to hear a short audio clip from Ram Nam Jap from the students of Creative School as our offering. So please join us on Anubhuti Ram Ras tomorrow. Same Zoom link. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. I'll keep the window
Thank
on.
you all. I just wanted to especially thank Beluji and Narendraji for your steady yearly visits here. It really refreshes us also, and we learn so much and get to have that immersive time with both of you. And we look forward to your visit again this year,
Yes,
all
yes.
of you. And thank you everyone for giving us an opportunity to share. Joy always multiplies when we share it. So thank you for giving us that opportunity to be of service. And
Yeah, and I feel
It's always an honor to visit a creative school and interacting with you, with the teachers, with the students. It's a great time for us, you know. We really look forward every year for that time.
thank you, Narendraji. Thank you, Beluji, for this idea and giving us this opportunity to share our joy.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, Shubha, you were saying.
Yeah,
Huh?
and I actually completely feel BhāratShakti in your in you, Narendraji, and
It's all Shakti, as you said, right?
yes. Shakti.
It's
Yes.
all the flow of
Thank you
Shakti.
so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, just like we did yesterday, I'll keep the window open just for a minute or so, so that whoever wants to just sit in silence and make this as an offering to the Divine Mother, all this interaction, the work that we co-created here, and then I'll close the window. But if you're ready to leave, please feel free to leave. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow online at the same Zoom link. Thank you.